was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Junior high, I mean. For me, it was probably one of the best. I like to get to know people and learn more about myself, activities I'm interested in, and like to get to know the studies that I like. But I think I was responsible for making it worse for someone else. Bullying can be subtle. Sometimes people don't recognize it. A lot of people may think that you just push someone around or shove them, which it can involve that, but it's not just that. Cyber nowadays is a form of bullying, and as well as verbally, but I didn't know that at age 11. A lot of us have experienced peer pressure in our lives, especially our teenage years. Ever since I was young, wanted to be associated with the cool people and get to know the people that were like the Hollywood clique in our school, that everyone knew their names and everyone knew who they were, especially one girl. Her name was Alicia. She was the free will, down-to-earth type of girl that everyone liked, especially a lot of girls wanted to be like her, and I was one of those girls. We became friends in 4th grade, and that became a closer friendship in 5th grade. And we also became friends with 5 other girls in our 5th grade class. And we became like this clique, and we always worked together, giggling and laughing all the time. We were never like the girls from the Girls and the Plastics of Mean Girls, where we would wear pink on Wednesdays and wear our ponytails up in hair only one day of the week. But we did say mean things about people, especially one girl. Her name was Sophie. Sophie was a quiet, tall, bookworm kind of girl that had glasses, and she would walk awkwardly with her feet turned in and her shoulders hunched over. We never pushed her, we never touched her, but we did say things about her. How she never really paid attention in class, mimicking the way she walked and so on. I remember one thing making fun of her for was the way she smelled. She didn't really have a smell, which is stupid to make fun of her for. She didn't have a pungent stench when you would pass by her. She didn't have flies buzzing around her, but just by the way she looked, we assumed that she did smell and that she didn't bathe or didn't shower. So every day, us girls would go to the bathroom after lunch, primp ourselves up, and check ourselves out in our unattractive uniforms, laugh and giggle before we got ridiculed by our teachers for being a distraction after returning class from lunch. We were laughing and giggling and snickering, and all of a sudden it came to a stop. Sophie walked in. We glanced at her in the mirrors as she walked by behind us to go into the stall. As soon as she closed the stall door, we looked at each other and snickered even more. I turned and looked to Alicia, and she had a smile on her face, but she was thinking. She was coming up with a plan on another way to attack Sophie. Us girls went back to our classrooms and lined up to go back to our classrooms after lunch. Alicia and I were in the same class, so we lined up together. And Sophie was the last to return to our lines, and she lined up behind Alicia and I. Alicia turned to me and said, "Tashara, do you like taking showers?" Oh my gosh, I love taking showers. It's so amazing. I didn't know what she was doing. She looked at Sophie, and then she looked at me, implying for me to add another response to that, and I did. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I love taking showers. I love the water, the warmth, everything about it, the soap and the fragrances and how you smell good and everything. I can't stand people who don't shower or bathe." We looked at Sophie, and Sophie had her head down, and she looked away. We turned and looked back at each other, and we snickered. It was time to face forward and head back to our classrooms. Before I took my first step forward, I turned around and looked at Sophie. She had her head down, walking awkwardly with her feet turned in. 7th grade came around, and Sophie was nowhere to be found. Something you should know about me is I hate trouble. I hate getting into trouble. I was in preschool and elementary. I hated being shushed by the teacher. I hated my friends talking to me during class because I didn't want to be shushed. When I was shushed, I was irked by it, and it changed my mood for the rest of the day. In junior high and high school, I was worried about being late to class because I didn't want to get marked late or get a detention. And ever since I learned about how to drive, I am that person that drives the speed limit, and I do not go 5 over because I do not want to get a ticket. But not once through 6th grade did I think that I would get in trouble. Not once did I think I should stop making fun of Sophie. She could go to the teacher, she can call my parents, and I can get sent to the principal's office. It wasn't trouble that I was worried about. It was about my reputation, about being cool and being accepted and being recognized as another cool chick. I didn't think about that until 7th grade. it came around. And 7th grade was a bigger building and a lot more students. As the weeks progressed, I realized, oh yeah, Sophie isn't here. Where is Sophie? I asked Alicia, and she said, oh yeah, that's weird. So we approached her friends that she was friends with in 6th grade. As we were approaching them, they kind of shut down and became intimidated. We said, hey, do you know where Sophie is? And they replied, I don't know. Maybe she went to a different school or her parents homeschooled her or something. I don't know. We said, oh, okay, whatever. And we walked away. Then I thought, did she leave because of us? Did she leave because we made fun of her? I turned and asked Alicia, and she said, we did nothing to that girl. I wanted to believe that, but I didn't think that was true. High school came around, and still nothing on Sophie. As any other school would have, they had speakers come and talk to students about certain subjects, about campaigns to volunteer for, or bullying especially. I remember one speaker came to talk to us. They had separated us, girls and guys, and one of the speakers was talking about how girls can be catty and gossip a lot, and she wanted us to just be nice. So, to end the session, she gave each of us girls a pink piece of paper. She said, girls, I want you to write a compliment. Be sincere about it. Give it to someone that you know or someone you don't know. And you can also write an apology to your mom that you yelled for at the day or the morning of today, or write an apology for something you did to your friend the other day. And all of a sudden, I thought of Sophie. The memories from 6th grade came flashing through my mind. I wanted to be sincere and apologize for my wrongdoing for teasing Sophie. So many things came through my mind, and I just stared at a blank pink sheet of paper with a pen shaking in my head. All my friends were glaring at me that I could see in the corner of my eyes. I knew they were thinking, what's wrong with her? Why can't she just write something? It's not that hard. I was really trying to think of the right words to say to apologize to Sophie. Then, as minutes passed, I finally came up with something. Usually after school, I'd go home, rush to the kitchen, get a little after-school snack, and go up to my room and get on Facebook and check up on the recent updates from my friends and family. But that day I had a different intention. I wanted to find Sophie, give her the note, and say that I am truly sorry. So I went on Facebook, I typed in her name. There was no Sophie Clark. Well, there was, but not the one I was looking for. I looked at her friends that she was friends with in 6th grade, but they weren't friends with the Sophie Clark. And I remember doing a class activity where we went around and told each other our middle names. And I remember hers, so I typed in her full name, and still there was no Sophie Clark. I then thought about the forbidden website of MySpace, and I typed in her name, it wasn't there. I typed in also the other forbidden site of Bebo, it wasn't there. And I thought, I've exhausted all these social media websites. What else can I do? And I thought, oh, our elementary school directory. I looked for her family's last name. They weren't even listed. Then I thought, what else can I do? And of course, not a lot of us during that time like to look at a text and look for people. And then I thought of the phone book. So with the last name of Clark, you can imagine how many families are listed. And I didn't even know her parents' first name. So I thought, I'm hopeless. I can't do anything else. So now that I had the opportunity to be in front of people and in a camera, I want to say, Sophie Clark, if you are listening or if you are watching right now, I, Tashara Lewis, want to publicly apologize for any wrongdoing that I have done to you in any way that I have hurt you. I am truly sorry. I can't apologize for anyone else for hurting you, but I can only apologize for my own wrongdoing. And I hope you can find it deep in your heart to forgive me. Thank you.